everybody. Welcome to Educator Dr. Mom. This video is going to be a little introduction to my channel, to who I am, to how I arrived at this point, and kind of what Educator Dr. Mom is going to be all about. I am an educator, I am a mom, I am a wife, and this is not where I expected myself to be at this time in my life. Not only did I not think I would be an educator, my bachelor's degree is actually in broadcast communications, and I thought that I would be doing something in the news or in front of a camera in some way, but God had a different path for me and a different journey for me, and that has led me to this point. I was blessed to be able to spend the last 6 months of my father's life with him. Soon after I graduated from college, he became a little ill, and I came home just to be with my family, and literally I was able to spend the last 6 months, like every day with him, which is just like the greatest gift for me. Obviously I didn't know that it would be his last days, but it was, and I will be eternally grateful to God for that time that I was able to have with him. And in that time, I discovered that broadcast journalism wasn't my destiny. I do know that God uses everything in my life for something, and little did I know that now I'm sitting in front of the camera using some of what I learned then for a different purpose. But I discovered during that time with my father that I was supposed to be an educator. I was a student teacher in an after-school program, and I taught summer school while I was in college during undergrad. And I loved it. For some reason, it didn't occur to me that I could be a teacher. Probably for shallow reasons, I will admit. But the time that I spent with my father really gave me insight into what's really important in choosing your career. And he shared a story with me about a friend of his. He and his friend went to school together to get their master's degree in education with the thought that they would become principals. And my father told me the journey that he had as he was going to school, and the next step was to be a principal, and he realized for him that that would mean sacrificing a lot of other things in his life that brought him joy, and that he thought he was supposed to be doing mainly coaching. He was an amazing coach, and anyone that lives in our area knows, and to this day I still am out in the community and people say, "Oh, you're Coach Jackson's daughter." Because he just made impact on so many people. And he really shared with me that he had to make a decision. Did he want to go in the direction of more power, more money, or did he want to continue to do what he felt was impactful, what he had joy doing? And he chose to go in the direction that his heart led him in. And that really spoke to me. And it really made me think about what gives me joy. And I remember the days when I was doing that teaching at the elementary school in the summer. The summer school is what really did it for me, because I had my own class and I did my own lesson plans, and I really got to experience it, and I just really loved it, and I really connected with those children. And so I just started to explore some options and look at how would I even do that? I just finished school in a totally different area. How in the world would I now? I'm not going to go back to school for another 4 years to get another bachelor's degree, is what I was thinking to myself. But a door opened. And in my life, when doors open, that is always how God speaks to me. I never have to force doors open. If I'm forcing something or having to work triple, double time to try to make something happen that's just not quite fitting, that's usually a sign for me. And peace also is a sign for me. And when I came home, I went into, my mother was friends with someone who had a connection with a certain network, I'll say here without naming them, and I was able to go in, and I was offered a small job which would start opening the door for me in broadcasting. The difference was I didn't have peace. I just didn't have peace about it, and that is how I always know whether something is in or something is out in my life. I just didn't have peace about it, and that is what started my conversations with my father. And once these doors started opening in the area of education, I did have peace and I was excited about it, which was really surprising because I thought I would never be a teacher. Like, it never ever occurred to me, honestly. The door opened for me to start a master's degree and get a license at the same time. So it was like a dual program. I would be working on two things at the same time. And I would be teaching at the same time too. So it was like, oh, wow, I can work and teach and work on this skill at the same time. So it was like a perfect fit. I was excited about it. However, it was like 2 days before the application was due. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to be able to get this in on time, especially trying to get transcripts from my college. I just didn't think that I was gonna make it. And lo and behold, I got everything that I needed to get in. I sent in my application and I quickly got a phone call telling me that I was in. I needed to move on to the next step, was to take at the time a test that teachers have to take in my area. So I started studying. Sadly, a week before I was supposed to take the test, my father shockingly passed. One of the most difficult times in my life. We were very caught off guard. And I had to go take that test the day after we buried him. So needless to say, I was very distracted. I went in to take the test, and in the middle of the test, I burst into tears and I had to leave. I couldn't do it. I came home and I made the phone call, because once you took the test, they give you the scores right away. You're supposed to call them into the program and let them know what your scores were. So obviously I had to call in and just say that I was not able to complete the test. I shared a little bit about why. And the director of the program was just very gracious to me. She was just so kind. And she said, don't worry about it. You still will have to take the test, but you take whatever time that you need. And I'm going to move you forward to the next part of the process, because I just feel something about you. I feel like you're supposed to be in this program. And I was just like, really? That really stood out to me. And obviously she said she can't tell anyone because everyone else will have passed this test because it was a requirement. And so I just felt the favor from this woman, and I knew that this is what I was supposed to be doing, and it gave me even more tenacity to hold on to this and to not let it go. And of course, my father's memory was in my forefront the entire journey. He was an educator for almost 30 years, and he impacted the lives of so many young people that still will walk up to us, like I said before, and remember him and tell us how amazing he was. So he was right here my entire journey of this educator process. And so I moved forward. I was able to teach. I was able to get into administration, and I really felt true fulfillment as an educator. And once I became a parent, it was an entire different level of fulfillment and joy, and again, something that is indescribable. And I thought that I would be a working mom. I just always thought that I would be a working mom. I thought that I could never stay at home. I just thought I would be bored, and I was like, I went to school all this time, and I'm not gonna, just sit on all this education that I've gotten. I have to work. Like, that just wouldn't even make sense. So I thought. I had my daughter. I stayed at home with her for the first couple of months. I think for 3 months I stayed at home with her, and then it was time to go back to work. And I had the best situation you could think of. I had daycare in my school in another part of the building. So she was coming with me. She was right there in the building, but I still was having an aching in my heart that I was supposed to be with her every day. And it came to me as clear as day. And it wasn't until a year and a half later when I got pregnant with my son. And what came to my heart was, you have put all of this time and focus and energy into all of these other children. Your children deserve even more of you, and you need to stay at home with them. And that was very hard for me to grasp. But I can never not go with my heart. When God puts something in my heart, I have to follow it, or like I said before, I don't have any peace. So I made the decision to resign and be at home with my children. And I immediately figured out that you're not bored when you're at home all day with kids. They keep me on my toes, and they fulfill my life in a way that I cannot explain with words. And along this journey, I was just sharing different things that I was doing at home and my experience with my aunt. And she said, you know, you should start a blog and share some of the things that you're doing with other women, other parents. And I was like, a blog? What is that? It's something that I wasn't familiar with. And so I started to just look into it, and I love to write. I am a writer by nature. So I just started to write things down, and I really just started to pray about it like I do with everything. And the name Educator Mom came to me, and I was like, Educator Mom, hey, I could talk about education, I could talk about mom things, and I could just share. I have been so tremendously blessed to learn so many things from the parents of the students that I taught. I just really always try to make a connection with my parents, and they always share with me. They were always encouraging to me. They always gave me advice for when it's your turn. I saw some do it right. I saw some do it wrong, and just had tremendous respect for them, especially because they were working and trying to raise children. And it is very hard. It is a hard balance to work and to be present at home with your children at the same time. My hat goes off to every parent that is able to do it, man and woman, because it is very hard. And so I was always taking notes of the things that they were telling me, and now I was just applying these things to my life, and I just really felt like I had so much to share, and why not share it? And so I started writing. And originally, like I said, it was Educator Mom, and my aunt was like, you need to put the doctor in there. And I was like, well, I don't want to, you know, like, it's not that serious. And she was like, no, it really gives credibility to what you're talking about. You studied it, you've worked really hard, and it will draw people to you, trust me. And so I threw the doctor in there reluctantly. Educator Dr. Mom. I've never wanted to come across as, you know, I'm a doctor, because I'm really just Jill. And I really only did it for my father. It was totally about honoring his legacy of education, and he is the reason that I went as far as I can go. But really, what I know has nothing to do with that. It really is so much of just my experiences. It has so much to do with the experiences of other people, honestly. And I just want to share what I have learned from so many phenomenal women and men and parents, and my parents, my siblings, my aunts and uncles. I mean, I just have been really blessed with great people in front of me who have taught me a lot of things. And so this channel, my journey here is really just to share my experiences. My blog is my version of what I'm going to share here in writing, and this channel is really just those lessons in video form. I do them as lessons because I am a teacher at heart, so it's kind of like my lesson plan. But really, it's just to share things that I've learned, things that I am trying to be purposeful every day about living an enriched life for myself, for my husband, for my children. I really saw when I was working that I was just missing the quality of life. It was just like a conveyor belt. I was just like ripping and running. I just never had enough time to look my daughter in her eyes. So, you know, just the small things that we really take for granted. And I want to just share with other people what I'm doing to try to enrich the quality of my life for my children, for my husband, and just hope that I can make an impression on other people and make them feel good and live a better life as well. So that is me, Educator Dr. Mom. Jill is my name. And I look forward to sharing more with you guys. And I hope you subscribe to my channel.